on there, please? Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. Oh, it's there. Good God, that's ridiculously stretched. And the... Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Let's see what it looks like on screen. Take a peek.
Jesus. It's got the right resolution. It's got the wrong colour depth, I can't do that. Widescreen is on. That's it with widescreen. What the fuck does it look like without? Doesn't change a friggin' thing. Graphics detail, come on. Everything to the maximum. That might also be why there. Sound setup. Drop that down a little bit. Voice volume, drop that down. Drop that down. Thanks, game, for jump scaring me in the options menu with the fucking door knocking. Fucking hell. Phoenix goes for a random quote against sugar and spice and fuck my life. Sounds about right. You've been very sleepy today. That's fair. Right, hello and welcome. Good Lord's Day has not been nice to Sherlock. Now he's gone stretched more than a dragon's lover. I like subtitles being on. Invert cameras off. Oh, fuck, this does have a camera in it. Bollocks. Aim. Have an aiming reticule option. What the fuck? I'm just going to keep it up. Changeable play every side. Oh, fine, okay. Exit game. Play. Oh, this is also because it's... Why? This actually looks better, but why is it not... Oh, for fuck's sake, game. Holmes versus Jack the Ripper, yeah. There we go. See, and now it doesn't look stretched to fuck. It actually looks good now. Sherlock's gonna shoot someone. Sherlock's gonna shoot everyone. Oh no.
I'll take a peek at how it looks.
Right. I want to change that to shift. Why does this look like first-person shooter controls? Oh no.
Bloody knife.
Shanky, shanky, shank. Shiv, shiv, shiv.
Shabby, shabby.
Spread the jam on Watson's hat. What should be FPS? If this game has become an FPS, then my memory of it is even worse than I thought. I know. Because my second monitor is 16 by 900, it didn't look stretched. It looks fine now. Previously, it already looks nice and sharper than the previous one.
In the name of my health and yours, Holmes, stop smoking so much. There is more fog in our apartment than in the street.
Watson, what the hell happened to your textures?
Ending, and I have nothing to do but make smoke rings. A more amusing part.
Honk is coming soon.
Better, but
Oh
my
no.
daughter is against it.
Perhaps a little tune on the violin.
My heart is not in it tonight, Watson. Have you noticed how this cigarette
Game's low for you. Yeah, it is actually a little low.
How many
Oh!
lives will it-
Brr. It's not letting me. Fuck it. Also foreign, that bastard. Well, we're going to have to go through that all over again. There's the... Why? Why are you refusing to capture the game first time? OBS, why? There we go. Right, options. Muscling. Yeah. Phoenix goes for random quoting. Yes, I didn't want Senpai to notice me. No idea where that one's from. Torian, that's thanks for the new quote, Torian. Right. That'll be why.
In the name of my health and yours, Holmes.
No, I
stop
definitely
smoking
hadn't
so
still got
much.
the volume settings on
More
OBS
fog in
from
our
Final
apartment
Fantasy.
than in the
Definitely
street.
not.
You are right, Watson, but this evening is never ending.
Perhaps,
My heart is not in it tonight. How many lives
There we
will
are.
end tonight in London? How many crimes will be committed within the life of a single cigarette? Ah, the vanity of existence. It is but
Goose.
complaints and smoke, the meagre
Good for you,
panache
Hunter.
of its sickly soul.
the tobacco is giving you very somber thoughts. I am certain that this inactivity will not last. Let's retire. You'll be in better humour tomorrow.
Reason speaks. Let's to bed.
That is not London. That's nowhere near foggy enough for London. Rob West presents a new adventure of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. Voice acting is pretty good sounding. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that the voice actor they used for Sherlock in this one is one they've given a lot of work to. I think actually might be the one they've used after that. It's going to say it looks too clean to be London, yeah? The fuck is that guy on the left on the... What's he doing lying down there? 31st August 1888, 3:20 a.m. Whitechapel. There's no celebrities here. It's Whitechapel. Definitely not London, or drunk people in the street. I don't know. That guy laying on the ground, I don't think he was sober.
Come this way, my lovely. We'll have a right good time. Wait, let me help you. Oh, it's my hair that pleases you.
I'm not controlling what happens here. Because I saw her hand just phase through my face. What the fuck? It's one good look at this. I know, right? It's fine. You just, had to take a stab at figure out where things were. September the 1st, 1888, 9:35
The
a.m.
news is as dark as the sky, Holmes. An inquest has been opened into the murder of a poor woman in the East End. The unfortunate girl
His legs
was
are
discovered last
glitching through
night,
the tablecloth.
lying
At least
in
it's
the
not glitching
street,
through the chair.
Still warm. The murderer was filled with an incredible savagery. Oh, the
Okay, just
article
insulated
gave me
nice for good
shivers
look. Oh,
down
yeah.
my spine. The
It's worse.
inspectors in charge of the case don't seem
Crunchy,
to have
squelchy.
even the slightest
Not
lead.
yet.
A similar murder took
Yeah,
place less than
not
a
yet.
month ago.
Why is there champagne?
A romantic walk, a kiss in the moonlight, a polite refusal, a terrible anger, and a hanging.
This area of Whitechapel is a disgrace
Holmes
to
do anything
London.
sober?
The
Perish the
government should
thought.
take serious note of what is going on there.
Whitechapel? This woman was found in
Moses,
Whitechapel?
I see no
Yes,
orange
indeed.
juice there.
Bucks Row, to be specific.
Then it was not a question of romance, but of commerce. Unless these women actually take pleasure in the
before
vice,
oranges were
the female
invented.
nature is completely...
Holmes, do you hear yourself? A woman is dead under unspeakable circumstances. No less than any other, she was a human and one of Her Majesty's subjects. None of
Floridians.
these streetwalkers of which you speak have any other way to survive but by selling their bodies. You know as well as I that our era is
Oh,
not
yeah, I
a
remember you
gentle
told me.
one, and these women don't have much to look forward to. Some grace, if you would. Do not refuse them your compassion.
What about the
Do not
inventions of
say
oranges?
Another word, my dear Watson.
Apparently oranges
We shall
weren't
leave
invented.
immediately for Whitechapel.
To the scene
Fuck
of the
is up with
crime.
Holmes'
No, I
face?
think it would be better to arrive there a bit later once night has fallen. At the moment, the spot will be overrun by police
What
officers
the
and spectators.
actual
It will
fuck
be
is with
impossible to
that face
investigate
texture?
properly.
Then where are we going, Holmes?
The best thing to do would be to head to the police station and attempt to get a copy of the preliminary report.
I do not
But the
remember
article
him
in the
looking like
Star
that.
seemed
I
quite
really
complete
don't.
To me.
You must know, Watson, that journalists often draw conclusions from the facts without a proper understanding of how to do this delicate task.
Gin. I
We
think
must
I
obtain
need
reports
gin.
from the inspector in charge, as well as those from the coroner.
Very well, Holmes, but all the same.
It
Closed.
seems to me that I have a map of London somewhere.
No, I'm
Watson.
going to be saying that
Can you
tomorrow
find
for
it and locate
Outriders.
Whitechapel while I get ready?
You are too kind, Holmes. Searching through your mess?
Ah. Why is it giving me an option for first person perspective? Start. Oh, that's a lot. Is it stuffing for anyone else? Yeah, I've just noticed I've been dropping shitloads of frames.
Get anything.
This for you. Yeah, I was. Apparently, I dropped like 5,000 frames. So that'd be why I was stuttering. Bless you. Bless you. It's been the second industrial revolution, so fog. Yeah, there's no fog really. It's fine now for you. Yeah, everything seems fine. I don't know. I'm now thinking though that because I've put up the volume on OBS, it's now a bit too loud in times. What happened at the beginning stream? Fair. Fair. I also thought my opinion does for that time. Barely tell on my end laptop is generally integrated displeased. Torian says bless it. Ah, fine. The Star, Saturday the 1st September 1888. Special edition, the Whitechapel Horror, the third crime of a man who must be a maniac. Women lured to by streets to be butchered. The latest victim identified. Opening of the inquest, great local excitement. The victim of the latest Whitechapel Horror, the woman who was found yesterday morning in Bucks Row, completely disemboweled and with her head nearly gashed from her body, was for a time completely unknown. As the news of the murder spread, however, first one woman and then another came forward to view the body, and at length it was found that a woman answering the description of the murdered woman had lodgings in a common lodging house, 18 Thrall Street, Spitalfields. Women from that place were fetched as they identified the deceased as Polly, who had shared a room with 3 other women in the place, on the usual terms of such houses, nightly payment of some denomination of money each woman having a separate bed. It was gathered that the deceased had led the life of an unfortunate while lodging in the house, which was only for about 3 weeks past. Nothing more was known of her by then, but that when she presented herself for her lodging on Thursday night, she was turned away by the deputy because she had not the money. She was then the worse for drink, but not drunk, and turned away laughing, saying, "I'll soon get my DOS money. See what a jolly bonnet I've got now." She was wearing a bonnet with which she had not been seen with before, and left the lodging house door. A woman of the neighbourhood saw her later, she told the police, even as late at 2:30 on Friday morning in Whitechapel Road. Late at 2:30, in the Whitechapel Road, opposite the church and at the corner of Osborne Street, and at 3:45 she was found within 500 yards of the spot murdered. The people of the lodging house knew her as Polly, but at about 7:30 last evening, a woman named Mary Ann Monk, at present an inmate of Lambeth Workhouse, was taken to the mortuary and identified the body that as a Mary Ann Nichols, also called Polly Nichols. Is that the currency that you have to use if you want to have a threesome? Polly Nichols? She knew her, she said, as they were inmates of Lambeth Workhouse together in April and May last, the deceased having been passed there from another workhouse. On the 12th of May, according to Monk, Nichols left the workhouse to take a situation as servant at Ingleside, Wandsworth Common. It afterwards became known that Nichols betrayed her trust as domestic servant by stealing £3 from her employer and absconding. That's a lot of money back then. I don't know, but quite a lot. It would basically be the idea of having, like, you know, $1 being the equivalent of, like, I don't know. Think as if, you know, the US had a 3-tier currency system. Cents, then dollars, then something above dollars. Pounds at this point were the thing that was above dollars, because you had pounds, shillings, and pence. So a pound was quite a significant amount of money. Get out, go to bed. From that time, she had been wandering about. Monk met her when she said about 6 weeks ago, when herself out of the workhouse, and drank with her. She was sure the deceased was Polly Nichols, and having twice viewed the features as the body lay in the shell, maintained her opinion. There is a terribly significant similarity between this ghastly crime and the 2 mysterious murders of women which have occurred in the same district within the last 3 months. In each case, the victim has been a woman of abandoned character. Each crime has been committed in the dark hours of the morning, and more important still, as pointing to one man, and that man a maniac, being the culprit. Each murder has been accompanied by a hideous mutilation. In the second case, that of the woman Martha Turner, it will be remembered that no fewer than 30 stabs were inflicted. Detroit Become Human moment. 28 stab wounds. The scene of this murder was George Yard, a place appropriately known locally as the Slaughterhouse. As in both other cases, there was in this not the slightest clue to the murderer. No one was known to have any motive for causing the woman's death. She was parted from her husband and had lived with a man named Turner, but the searching coroner's inquiry revealed nothing connecting either with the crime. It was fancied that some of her many wounds had been caused by a bayonet, and she was said to have been seen with a soldier shortly before her death. It's like yanking 300 from your boss. Around about that, yeah. Sorry, bounty hunter, not cops, and hunt down game. 28 stab wounds. There you go, Ride. Didn't want to give him a chance, did you? Some soldiers were paraded at the tower, and one was said to have been identified by a policeman as having been waiting about George Yard just about the time of the murder. But nothing came of it. The first murder, which strangely enough did not rouse much interest, was committed in Osborne Street. The woman in the case was alive when discovered but unconscious, and she died in the hospital without recovering her senses. Consequently, she was unable to whisper a word to put the police on the track of her fiendish assailant, and her murder has remained a mystery. All 3 crimes have been committed within a very small radius. Each of the ill-lighted thoroughfares to which the women were decoyed to be foully butchered are off-turnings from Whitechapel Road, and all are within half a mile. The fact that these 3 tragedies have been committed within such a limited area, and are so strangely alike in their details, is forcing on all minds the conviction that they are the work of some cool, cunning man with a mania for murder. There's no new light thrown on the case this morning. At 9 o'clock, the body of deceased was removed from the mortuary to an improvised operating room on the premises, and Dr. Ralph Llewellyn made a post-mortem examination. The object of the examination was to determine, if possible, the order in which the various cuts were made. It is evident from the cuts in the throat that the head was bent back by the murderer before the knife was used. Whether the other mutilation took place before or after death remains to be settled, as also the positions in which the women lay when the deed was done. There are several questions of this kind which may throw light on the case, notably the small quantity of blood at the place where she was found, and the fact that there must have been much of it somewhere else. At present, clues to the mystery to the murder are entirely lacking, and the location of the place where the deed was done was the first point necessary to establish. Well, it looks like she's no longer closed. Jesus. Notes indicating the new items only meant to expand upon the facts already said. Okay, got no map either. That's supposed to put. Oh god! Oh my god! The sensitivity on this. Jesus. That's not what I wanted to do. I guess go there. Resume.
Holmes
I'm
is
going to try.
experiment table.
I will try to have it. Double click to make you run. I can just hold and shift. Oh, it's a run toggle.
This is the coal bucket in which Holmes keeps his cigars. What a funny idea.
Can you turn down sensitivity? I do not think so, but let's have a look. Controls. It's not in controls. Options. Oh yeah, I can. Yep, all the way down. Oh, that seems better. Hasn't really changed much in game. That's worrying. Let's put it right down, the very lowest sensitivity it can do. It's moving sluggishly. Camera sensitivity. Oh, yeah, so it is. Okay, let's try camera sensitivity down. Back up. Camera sensitivity right down. Yes. Oh, that's not amazing because it's got a little bit of way to it, but it's a lot better.
This is how Holmes stores his post. Thank goodness his clients don't see this.
That closk. What's a closk? I want to see if there is actually a thing. Look at the size of that left button, massive. Everything else is normal. Is there any way to switch between first person? I don't know. There isn't.
Colonel Gordon, during the last adventure of the resident patient. Holmes uses this old Persian slipper to hold his pipe tobacco.
Why?
Treaty on Cornish, the Celtic dialect of Cornwall. And here, medieval pottery. How can Holmes possibly read such things?
Holmes likes feet confirmed.
Holmes's violin. He doesn't play nearly enough, if you ask me. A map of London, at last. Let's see. The district of Whitechapel.
Or I could continue. Why are those things rendered so brightly and everything else is dull by comparison? Yes, I feel you as well.
The Queen's initials done in bullet holes. Good old Holmes.
Spit shine? Why would anyone want to spit shine a compass and a pencil, though?
Have you found the map of London, Watson? Come, my friend, it can't be too far. Be sure to locate the police station in Whitechapel we must get to.
Understood, Holmes.
Well. London map of Whitechapel. Okay.
I found the map, Holmes, and I was able to locate the Whitechapel police station.
Congratulations, Watson. Come, the game is afoot. You can read the article to me on the way.
I'm about to dive back into Divinity Original Sin 2. I'm going to try and finish every quest on Silent.
Whitechapel.
Not very bright.
I think you might have a slight problem, Torian. Considering the fact that when I woke up this morning and checked Discord, you were still playing it. You control Sherlock Holmes.
Then quickly, let's get to the police station.
I could swear this was not a first-person thing entirely. Watson's face? Yeah, Watson's face was a treat. Where's he gone? Watson, you gotta stop following me around like that.
Well, this station isn't very well kept, I say.
It's a local outpost, Watson. The daily tasks that confront these constables are not the easiest, and they are poorly paid.
It's why I had to take Age 2 away because I had a doctor's appointment to play for a little bit this morning, and it's like, oh. Just wait, and we'd be enjoying this game. No, he just follows me like a dog that wants to hump my leg. He played until 1:30 this morning.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
This police station is like a laundry. What a scandal.
Watson, get out of your own arse. Dangerous criminal is searched. Jesus Christ.
These archives are impressive. I bet they have been carefully conserved, classified and indexed in order to follow the evolution of criminality in this area with extreme precision. Wouldn't you say, Holmes?
Given their condition, more likely for lighting the furnace, Watson.
Teleporting Watson. Watson, is one of your feet crooked? I think I've angered the great Watson. Although, give me 2 seconds. Oh, it actually paused. Game? Okay. It's got to be there. I opened up a Paint document and pasted into it, so hopefully it's taking that on board.
This must be the door that leads to the cells.
All up in my business. All up in my business. Watson worries me. Thank you for the hydration, Manny Kelly.
Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello, I would like to speak with the Chief Inspector, if you please.
Constable Humphreys here. I am the only one in at the
Did for your
moment.
dragon this morning.
What
He's a
do you
good boy.
want with
Can free
the
my
chief?
dragon.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am...
Sherlock Holmes? The detective that I read about in the papers?
If you didn't try to harass him.
Well,
I'm
that's a treat,
disappointed
that
you
is.
failed.
You come about the Buck Road case, have you? Indeed. We...
Not at all. We were just passing by chance. You say that there was a crime recently.
You don't know? You must be the only folk in London who haven't heard.
It won't be long until you find the culprit, no doubt.
Nothing is less certain. Suspects 0. Clues 0. It's not good for us,
He's not a remorseful
especially not
character.
in this
Not with
district.
that attitude, he's not. Oh, I was waiting for him to continue thinking game, and I realised I've got some text up here.
Listen, this isn't what I came here for, but if I can be of service, in a confidential capacity, of course, if you can entrust me with a copy of the preliminary reports, I could study them and return later with my conclusions.
It's just that these are official documents. I can't take a decision like that without the inspectors. The sooner we know the facts in the file, the sooner we can be of help, my friend. Say, if you are Sherlock Holmes, you can find anything, isn't that true? With your magnifying glass, footprints.
My performance is often embellished by my biographer.
Ah, good, good. I will give you the reports, but could you do me a small favour first? During my rounds, I dropped a leather folder containing some papers. Nothing of importance, but it's a big mistake. I would go looking for it myself, but I am stuck here on duty. I must have lost it near the seedy boarding house not far from here. Left when you leave the courtyard and left again in the lane. Perhaps you could go, ask around. We shall see what we can do.
Welcome to tutorial, apparently.
Are we going to go look for these documents?
Why not? It'll give us an occasion to take a tour of the district, Watson.
The only issue I've got is that Holmes' voice sounds very, very compressed. The lost police bag. Lost police bag? It's a leather folder. That's not a...
Pardon me, but can you give me some information?
You too? You're lost?
His voice feels bizarre for police by. Yeah, his voice seems fine to me. It's Sherlock's that seems compressed. Alright, shit suit. Jesus Christ, Watson.
Good day, sir. You wouldn't happen to have seen a leather folder on the ground around here, would you?
Good day, gentlemen. Finley, caretaker of this building. Here to serve. And yes, less than an hour ago. But some of the local urchins picked it up and God only knows where it might be now.
That's unfortunate. This police bag contained documents that the local police will miss.
Your
Is it
inspectors...
a folder or a
Not
bag?
at all. I am Dr. Watson, and this is Sherlock Holmes, the detective.
Sherlock Holmes, the great detective. You must be here about last night's murder. Have you discovered the identity of the poor woman?
Indeed, I'd only to read the papers.
Mine is dated from this morning, and it does not say who it is.
They found one of those fancy folder bags.
I'm not really engaged in this case, but if I can help the police, I will do so willingly.
Oh, to be sure. I've been told that Inspector Aberline is in charge. A very capable man.
Oh yeah, I remembered. Lestrade's not in this one at all.
So, according to you, I have no chance of finding this folder then?
Indeed. But I, on the other hand, should be able to find it. Do me a favour in exchange. A vagrant comes almost every night to sleep in one of the nooks not far from my windows. He coughs, howls, sometimes even sings. He's quite hefty and I don't dare approach him. I've lost 3 tenants because of him. If it's you who speaks to the police, they will take this matter more seriously. Tell them about the captain. They'll know who you're talking about. In the meantime, I'll find your police bag.
Eastland Advertiser. Another Whitechapel mystery. Horrible murder in Bucks Row, Whitechapel. Scarcely has the horror and sensation caused by the discovery of the murdered woman in Whitechapel some time ago when time to abate, when another discovery is made which, for the brutality excised on the victim, is even more shocking and will no doubt create as great a sensation in the vicinity as its predecessor. He perished after being called Lestrade too many times. No, he was turned to violence and he's the real Jack the Ripper. Say my name. Stab, stab, stab. The affair is up to the present is enveloped in complete mystery, and the police have as yet no evidence to trace the perpetrator of the horrible deed. The facts are that Constable John Neal was walking down Bucks Road, Thomas Street, Whitechapel, about 3:45 on Friday morning, when he discovered a woman between 35 and 40 years of age lying at the side of the street with her throat cut right from ear to ear. The instrument with which the deed was done traversing the throat from left to right. The wound was about 2 inches wide and blood was flowing profusely. She was discovered to be lying in a pool of blood. She was immediately conveyed to the Whitechapel mortuary, where it was found that besides the wound in the throat, the lower part of the abdomen was completely ripped open with the bowels protruding. The wound extended nearly to her breast and must have been effected with a large knife. As the corpse lies in mortuary, it presents a ghastly sight. Victim seems to be between 35 and 40 years of age and measured 5 feet 2 inches in height. Same height as you, Callie. Nope. I've got a deadly weapon on the other side of you. Capius! Capius is now just staring at me after I called him. Hi, buddy. Blanket stare. Told me how I missed that. 5'2". The hands are bruised and bear evidence of having engaged in a severe struggle. There is the impression of a ring having been worn on one of the deceased's fingers, but there is nothing to show that it had been wrenched from her in the struggle. Some of the oh god, what's it? Some of the front teeth have also been knocked out, and the face is bruised on both cheeks and very much discoloured. Deceased wore a rough brown ulster with large buttons in front. Her clothes are torn and cut up in several places, bearing evidence of the ferocity with which the murder was committed. The only way by which the police can prosecute an inquiry at present is by finding someone who can identify the deceased, and then, if possible, trace those in whose company she was last seen. Taller than you, I know. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah. It's fine. Fun-sized. In Bucks Row, naturally, the greatest excitement prevails, and several persons in the neighbourhood state that a fray occurred shortly after midnight, but no screams were heard, nor anything beyond what might have been considered evidence of an ordinary brawl. In any case, the police unfortunately will have great difficulty in bringing to justice the murderer or murderers. Great fire at London warehouses. A fire broke out shortly before 9 o'clock on Thursday night in one of the huge warehouses of the London warehouses. The warehouses were closed as usual at 4 in the afternoon, and there are then few persons except the night policemen and firemen left on the premises. At about 8:30, a smell of fire was noticed, and shortly afterwards there was an immense burst of flames from the top of one of the vast buildings right in the centre of the warehouses. The volume of the fire was terrific, but at 9 o'clock the authorities of the fire brigade had heard nothing of the occurrence. Warehouses, yeah. Warehouses said so many times in that short sentence.
It's the warehouse for Cusco. Cusco's warehouse. That's what that felt.
Is that like werewolves and they turn into a house on the full moon?
Yes.
There we go, Torian got the same thing as me. Shortly afterwards, an alarm was given at the Whitechapel station, and the officials of the brigade instantly ordered every steamer to proceed to the scene. I thought streamer. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I don't think streamers are around then. And the circulation of the news amongst the other stations caused steamers to be sent on from every district in London. On arrival of the engines, it was found that a fire of enormous strength was raging in the upper floors of a great building about 150 yards long and half abroad. The flames could not have broken out in more dangerous parts of the warehouses again, than the site of this fire. The South Quay warehouses. They were crammed with colonial produce in the upper floors and brandy and gin in the lower floors. Full of gin!
Blood!
I just hope they were closed.
You already said it.
Oh. That one game has completely done the holy trinity of Sherlock, being gin, blood, closed.
Careful, for next week I might get you gin.
What am I going to have to do to earn such a punishment?
Make that joke.
Wow, that's going to be a punderful way to go. Gin's just reads a bloody knife from us. Blood. Blood. Your paper says no, but your typing says yes.
Get maraschino cherries so that you can have blood and do a little cherry gin cocktail.
Yes. Through the great iron-barred warehouses, the fire could be seen raging like a furnace, and the enormous tongues of bluish and yellowish flames, which constantly burst up with great roars, pointed to the fact that spirits were aiding the progress of the flames. Those goddamn arsonist ghosts! The scene at 10:30 was an imposing one in the enormous warehouses, crammed with goods of incalculable value, with vast buildings on every side, and with great vessels in the wet warehouses. What the fuck?
I guarantee you that the insurance companies calculated them.
How does a farmer add up his monthly spendings? With a calculator.
I'll move over.
It's a good thing that we're not telling Capers to go outside. We had to go buy some. You're bad, I am. I'm being fished. I'm being doubly fished. Firemen, policemen, and dock officers were either watching or aiding, endeavouring to extinguish the fire. It's like, yeah, I can just imagine all the firemen line up like, damn, that's a blaze. You can change your perspective on the screen. Oh, so I can. While an enormous crowd gathered round the great gates and gazed at the progress of the fire from a distance.
Let's go to the police station.
Oh god, it's a janky first person. Oh, it's a janky point and click now. Oh god. Oh god, I think I prefer first person. But at the same time, what are those walking... What are those janky walking... Why is he stopped in the middle of that one? No, we're keeping it like this. We're keeping it like this because this is jank supreme already. See, I never got to this. This never happened on the console because you can't do point and click on console. So it's just basically, you know, you have this view and you move the left stick and it just moves Shark. Why? I clicked Watson, he's going with the... What the fuck? Watson, why do you stop so often? Why? Yeah, we're finding the janky bit. I think I noticed a bug. Watson is the Ripper. Yeah, Watson's just looking at me and I'm doing this. Hey. Why are you... Holmes, why? Watson's doing it. I just saw Watson doing it. What are you doing, dude?
Excuse me, my good man.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Oh god, I remember that line. That's one of my vivid memories from this game that's just gone like, out of the way, I don't like the look of you. Watson's doing it. Oh my god. The fuck is that voice? I don't know. I do not know what the fuck that voice was. He's cutting a chick.
It's like
So, gentlemen, have you found my police bag?
Out of the way. I don't like the look of you.
Before he was gone.
Not quite yet. Do you know a vagrant who goes by the name of the Captain?
Captain.
And who the fuck was that?
Yes, an old sailor, strong as a Turk and tattooed from head to toe. The drink has turned him into a derelict.
He appears to be causing some problems for the caretaker of the building at the end of the street.
What do you want us to do? Every night, stairwells, halls and porches become public dormitories, and people don't only come to sleep. I believe this man has a niece who puts him up sometimes. Her lodgings are in Commercial Street, right after the alley with the boarding house. You won't forget my folder, will you?
Why is his lips flap like that?
Do you believe this woman will agree to have her uncle stay with her?
No idea. Oh well, let's go see her just the same.
New England trying to do old looks. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, this is a Ukrainian company, so I don't think they would have gotten American voice actors. But I don't know, maybe. It's also, it's like, M. Where's my map? Boarding house. I don't even know. American doing an English accent? Maybe. I don't know. I still don't think there was. Could be wrong, but
Commercial Street.
I only saw it for a frame, but I could have sworn that did not say Commercial Street and instead said Corp Rectal Street.
There. This is where the niece of the captain must live.
How do you know that?
Good day, miss. Would you happen to be the niece of the man known as the captain?
Oh, yes, that would be me. What has he done this time? He isn't...
Why
Oh my God.
why are
I'm on my
hands
way.
holding on to nothing? What the fuck is that face?
Miss, we have come to ask if you
What
could have
the
your uncle come
fuck?
live with you. He sleeps under the windows of a boarding house, causes the caretaker no end of problems.
I know. I've lodged him for a while, and he was the same here. My landlord made me kick him out. I'm ashamed, you know. I never should have, given the state of his health. He coughs day and night.
There might be a way to calm his cough. I am a doctor. I could examine him.
She looks
You
at
ought
him.
to
She
see a doctor
really
at the
does.
clinic. But the medicine costs too much. I can hardly pay my rent.
We will see to it. Where might your uncle be found?
I don't know. He must be in the vicinity, but I don't know exactly where.
We will find him.
Holmes, this is serious. Find an alcoholic in Whitechapel? A needle in a haystack would be easier.
Come, dear doctor, let's trust to our lucky star. Moreover, we also have our informers, remember?
Are you referring to those brats to whom you are always giving charity?
Exactly, my secret police. Some of them must surely roam in this area. It suffices to find them.
Why has police got an exclamation mark in the middle of a quote? Watson, be honest. Watson's an arse in this. He got sprayed. Oh, there he is. I'm kind of seeing why I had no issues with the Xbox
Hello, young
360
man. How are
version.
you?
I recognize him. It's the lad who sells newspapers, who is always calling outside our windows at Baker Street early in the morning.
Hello, Mr. Holmes. It's a treat to see you again. What can I do?
Oh god, that face! What the actual donkey fuck is that? His hair also looks like someone shat in porridge and dumped it on his head. The fuck?
Would you happen to know an old sailor who goes by the name of the
Back in the
captain?
kiln.
A poor man who hits the bottle a bit hard.
Of course, Mr. Holmes. He's there at the end of the street. Round to the left he is. But be careful. He can be a tough customer, that one.
Very good, my young man. The doctor will give you a little something. Watson?
Huh? I say, Holmes?
Is he always such a skinflint with you, Mr. Holmes? Well, thanks to you, Mr. Holmes. Anytime you need me.
What the fuck was any of that? What's this guy just doing? Like, walking. I just don't. I have none of the anything. Maybe the hydration from my DJ. What's that guy
I
doing?
can hear someone coughing more than is natural, Holmes.
Yes, Watson. The poor man cannot be too far away.
Put the entity back in the kill, make sure it doesn't move next. What's going on there? What's going on here? It's like him because he's doing a coughing animation. Watson, why? Oh no, right, I think we
If
found
in order to
the
listen
original
to
owner
us,
of
this
Biscuit.
man
It's
imposes
Watson.
condition that we find his pet cockroach. There will be another murder in Whitechapel today, Watson. Yours.
Ah, He is in a critical state, Holmes. He has barely a month left.
Is there a way, dear doctor, to ensure that this last month passes in silence?
Really, Holmes, sometimes you... Oh, really? I will make note of some medicine to get immediately that will relieve his pain.
Very well. I will locate an apothecary or a clinic.
Oh! Fast travel's a thing.
This building is a clinic.
It has the word dispensary above it. Yes, of course it's a clinic, Sherlock. I would say no shit, Sherlock, but it seems pointless to say it when Watson isn't around, so I can say dig deeper, Watson. I can't talk to him. Oh yes, I can. I've got to click on his face. All right. Yes, the floor here is made of floor.
Good day, sir. Dr. Gibbons. You aren't from around these parts.
Why are you
Indeed,
idly
Doctor,
holding a
it is for
syringe in
someone
your
from the
hand?
neighborhood that I am here, though. His doctor asked that I acquire some medicine on his behalf. I have the note here.
We have
Dr.
eggs.
Watson? Not from round
Space
here
eggs.
neither. This medication is quite dear. Certain documents are necessary to obtain them for free.
Spare change.
I don't have it. You'll have to accept my spare change. Will it be enough?
Enough to relieve your patient for a month. Would you like me to make this prescription available after that time?
According to Dr. Watson, that won't be necessary.
The possibility of a recovery?
A definitive one, yes.
There, sir.
Thank you. It's rather quiet here.
An unusual chain of events. The majority of the people hereabouts went out last night to see the great fire at the warehouse. The patients that I was minding and my staff were no exception. The former were dramatically healed, and the latter ended up sick. And with the murder last night, most of the people who weren't working wandered over to the scene of the crime. Their little aches and pains will wait until tonight or tomorrow.
A squalid murder.
Oh,
it
death
would
is a great
seem.
cure. Yeah.
Just like what this area
Good
has
for
become.
tales, yeah.
My thanks, Doctor.
Not at all.
Now he goes back to menacingly holding a syringe. I've just noticed there's a sliding sound whenever Holmes spins on the spot, so it's actually canonical that he does that. Wants to check map. Thank you. Dead end. That's a bit on the nose. Speaking of dead end. Chocolate ice with sprinkles. Ah. Oh, God. It's beyond foul. Ugh.
Find the medicine, Holmes. We must make haste.
Here is the medication, Watson.
Thank you for the hydration, one of
Is
us.
our man movable?
He should be able to stand in a few minutes and will no longer be suffering from his cough before long.
Consider the affair resolved. Accompany him to his niece's while I return to the boarding house, and then join me at the
Okay,
police
pass him
station.
out. Yeah,
Let's
it
return
is
to
the
the
usual.
boarding house.
Return to the boarding house. Oh, yeah.
I have good news for you, Mr. Finley. We have sent the captain to stay with a relative, and he shouldn't bother you for a while.
I also have some good news. I have your police bag.
Thank you. I bid you good day.
Oh, it was nothing. Tell me, one of my wife's friends lost...
Another day, Finley. Another day. Let's go to the police station.
Holmes, stop walking further than you need to.
Gotta get those steps.
Yep. One case per day, good day. Why are you two doing... You two swapped roles. You swapped positions. That's what's happened here. And I realise I've got to, manually make Holmes walk around them, otherwise he'll get stuck on them. Oh, it really feels like they had a movement system already sorted out. What the fuck are you?
Got a shilling, Gov.
I have nothing to ask.
Go. Yeah. Not accurate.
So, what news do you have, Mr. Holmes? So, what news do you have, Mr. Holmes?
There we go. How do I get this ready to be... What? Well, that equipped it, but what the fuck did I do differently? What the fuck? Blood sacrifice? I feel like I need to do one to get this game to work. Jesus.
Are you sure it's the police bag that you lost?
Yes, but someone attempted to force it open. They didn't succeed, but now the lock is stuck. Perhaps you could...
Let's see.
Very drunk when
It needs to be. What? I don't even have one up at the top. Oh, wait. Bollocks. That's just backwards. It shouldn't be as bastard difficult as it's proving to be. There we go.
All done.
A big thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Think nothing of it, my friend. So, the reports.
Why don't you wait till the inspectors get back? You would certainly learn more.
If I wanted to meet the inspectors, I would have done so. So, give me the preliminary reports, and above all, do not mention my visit to anyone. Is that clear?
Sure,
with that
if
lock.
that's what you want. Here are
It's
the
a
reports.
puzzle.
Thank you.
It's a very weird excuse to put a puzzle in. Death of Polly Nichols, 31st of August, 1888. Autopsy report by Dr. Henry Llewellyn, surgeon.
Hunger.
I mean, if you're going to be a cannibal, surgeon's a very good way to go into it to get the best cut of meat. The throat had been cut from left to right, two distinct cuts being on the left side, the windpipe, gullets, and spinal cord being cut through. A bruise apparently of a thumb being on the right lower jaw, also on the left cheek. The abdomen had been cut open from the centre of the bottom of the ribs, then along the right side, under the pelvis to the left of the stomach. There the wound was jagged, the omentum, or coating of the stomach, was also cut in several places, and 2 small stabs on private parts, apparently done with a strong-bladed knife, supposed to have been done by some left-handed person, death being almost instantaneous. Detailed.
Have you obtained the preliminary reports?
Yes, we'll read them on the go. Let's to the scene of the crime at Bucks Row, Watson.
Scene of the nerder. The nerder.
Let's go to the scene of the crime at Bucks Row, Watson. Bucks Row. Bucks Row. Bucks Row. Bucks Row. Bucks Row. Bucks Row.
I love that. Let me do that. Watson, why? Bucks Row. Watson, why? Sherlock, why? And it looks like you're able to walk down there, but you're not. Oh, there we go.
But what are all these people doing
Mortalist.
here, Holmes?
Apparently, they came to see the scene of the
Fished
crime.
again.
What about us? Aren't we going to see it?
We will return this evening, Watson. The circumstances shall be ideal for carrying out our little experiments.
Well, Watson,
Later.
we're at the scene of the Polly Nichols murder. Imagine the victim lying at the spot where she was found and try to discern all of the clues we can. Watson, you are a writer. I am therefore entrusting you with our deduction board. It will help us to establish certain facts.
Understood, Holmes.
Let's look at this poor woman more closely.
Right, okay.
The throat was slit from left to right. There are 2 incisions. A small pool of blood, 6 inches in diameter.
You sure it's not gin?
The tongue is swollen. There is a bruise at the level of the right maxilla. There is a bruise on the left cheek.
Yeah. Tongue is closed.
The throat was slit from left to right. There are 2 incisions. No marks on the ground. The ground is muddy. The body was lying on its back, legs straight and slightly apart. The skirt had been lifted up to the middle of the body. The left hand was touching the barn door. The body was still warm. Let's reread the preliminary report for the details on the wounds inflicted upon this poor woman. There is a black bonnet near the left hand. No signs of blood.
Blood. And what's in the ground is money. Make up your mind, Sherlock. I know, right? Her throat had been cut from left to right, but we got 2 distinct cuts being on the left side, windpipe gullet and spinal cord being cut through, a bruise apparently of a thumb being on the right lower jaw, and also on the left cheek. So right lower jaw, left cheek, so like that. It's been cut open from the center of the bottom of the ribs, along the right side, from the pelvis to the left of the stomach. There was the wound with the coating the stomach was also cut in several places. So that, okay. Deduction. Oh, good God. No footsteps on the ground. Tongue is bloated. What is that? The murderer warned the victim up. The murderer warmed the victim up.
The only gentlemanly thing to do.
It's another mod. I say the victim was dumped. This man's a bruise on the right jawbone. This bruise was caused by hard pressure with the fingers, or the murderer gagged the victim by gripping tightly. Are those two different? How are those two different at all? That's the exact same thing, just said different ways.
You know. For you. That fatigue and hemorrhaging of the eye can be caused by vigorous fellatio.
I did not, but you know, blowing someone so hard your eyes blow out.
Just FYI, it's a thing.
Oh, so it's a difference between strangulation and suffocation. So if they're on the jaw, that is over the mouth. That'd be suffocation because tongue is bloated. That would also mean gag the victim by gripping tightly. I'm gonna go with. Oh, oh no! Oh Jesus! No trace of blood on the walls. Victim had her throat slit. The wall was washed. It was slit the victim's throat quietly. Yes, as we know from every single stealth game in existence, the less noise you make, the less blood that comes out. The victim didn't have a throat slit, was saying the only one. Makes any fucking sense. A little pool of blood. Blood spurted, blood didn't flow. Blood did not flow in strong spurts. The dirty and damp ground. He could not have relations on the ground. I mean, technically, no, he couldn't. The murderer threw water on the ground. What the fuck? Wasn't killed here. She was dead before being stretched out. Oh, it tells me if I'm right or not. So these are wrong. Strangled. To place on the premises. What? To place in the data. What? Oh, so this isn't. This one's wrong. Victim wasn't dragged. Murderer moved. At least it tells me. Flows.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Love it. My hint system tells me what are we do. Asks what are we doing. All deductions, I think. I think I'm missing a clue that links to this. And maybe also there. Well, everything around there has been seen. Right. I'm going to be right back because I need to go feed the cats. Be back in just a sec. I've got Alt Tab out anyway, so actually click on things. Just 2 seconds. I returned. Oh, good God. Game, why? Been fished. Ah! If you want to take me home with you, there's easier ways of doing it. Fishy dragon. Pretty much, yeah.
There is only one streetlight lit on this street, Watson, and this spot is particularly poorly lit.
This spot is deserted, Holmes. The prostitutes only come here to exercise.
Well, Watson, we have found all of the possible clues, I think. We will now attempt to recreate the scene of the murder. Come closer, Watson. I have to make you up.
You are joking, Holmes. I feel ridiculous, Holmes.
Now, Watson, come and stand here in front of me.
He doesn't necessarily
You shall play the
apparently,
role of
yes.
the poor woman, and I shall play that of the murderer. Let's try to reconstruct the facts to ensure the final result corresponds
Yes.
indisputably to the way that Polly Nichols was killed.
That's a fanfic right there.
Them in their honeymoon alone.
Nothing already about that, no, sorry.
I hope that, as with the real murder, nobody had to witness all of that, Watson. If the murderer used his right hand astride his victim, there wasn't much room.
I was about to say, oh, you're coming for now, for repairs, what's the next one?
No, had the victim had her throat slit while standing, there would naturally be blood on the walls.
So yeah, that's all there. I'm sort of playing with that knife in Watson's face. Hey, they might be into knife play. You never know.
This position is unlikely. Yes, it's quite possible the events occurred like this.
I don't even. Something.
No, I don't think that things went like that. The murderer didn't attempt to stab his victim in the stomach.
What?
No, I don't think that things went like that. The murderer didn't attempt to stab his victim in the stomach. If the killer positioned himself to the side of the victim to slit her throat, regardless of which hand he used, he would have risked seeing the blood flow uncontrollably towards him. This position is a possibility. The murderer would have used his knife in his right hand. Plausible, but not likely. This position is unlikely. The murderer had enough room to inflict the wounds to the neck, and these wounds suggest the left hand was used. My dear Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
Why the pause?
Romantic.
The victim wasn't cold. Victim wasn't afraid. Points the hands ready to exercise. Exercise. It's not bod. Oh. Hello, welcome, Q, by the way. It's like Holmes is on something. From that position, on Watson. Just angle her. Left hand's on there. Kill, strangle the victim with right hand. There is left-handed. Well, that is correct. Pissed on, oh god. Technically the truth. Two knives. Bruise on the right jawbone. So it was bruised there and there. So the left hand was over there. Left hand prevented from screaming. Of course, but gagged the victim by gripping tightly. Just strangled the victim. So gagged, strangle. Right hand. Seen a thing and Back to the Future reference in Hunt Down already. I think you get another one, but like, alright, nice. I get the feeling that I'm oh.
The victim was most probably dead before being laid down. Once the heart stopped, gravity drained the body slowly, not in a heavy spurt that would have stained half the street.
Thank you, Holmes. I understand why you told me not to change clothes. Do you realize that our behavior didn't alarm anyone?
The victim's ordeal was even more discreet. By acting in silence, we have confirmed something. The crime definitely took place here. The victim and her murderer were able to come here without making any noise, and afterwards the murder took place without the slightest cry being uttered. Come, Watson, let's go home. We have spent far too long in this sinister alley.
Where's Hudson's? Watson?
And
Where's
so, my dear
Watson's
Watson,
hat?
The day and night which we passed in Whitechapel were enlightening, weren't they?
An adventure that I most certainly will never relate. To be in the skin of that poor woman. I prefer not to speak of it further. But have we really learned anything about the murderer? Obviously a man, given the necessary strength.
We have little to go on, at least no more than the police. But in my opinion, Inspector Aberline has a trick or two up his sleeve. No, I want to talk about the facts and what we can draw from them. We know where the crime was committed and under what conditions. I would like to ask you about the possible motives for the crime. According to you, Watson, what could have pushed the murderer to act in such a way?
Those dead eyes. Possible motives for the crime. No or yes, no or yes. Black magic. Stare into your soul. Hello, welcome. Sure, Holmes, sure. Oh,
Black magic?
I'm not terribly interested in the occult or black magic. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to this motive.
so yes. No, not theft, because the victim lived in misery.
Theft, perhaps.
I have a hard time believing that someone would attack poor Polly so fiercely just to rob her of a few coins.
Homicidal insanity, Holmes.
It is indubitable that the man who did this to Polly Nichols is not of his full senses.
A personal drama.
Love can certainly lead to many a drama, but we have to consider the fact that the victim didn't know her attacker. Elementary. Very well, Watson. I think that we've exhausted the topic. Take a rest and we'll speak again later.
Elementary.
Ah, it would seem that the investigation is advancing, Holmes. Yesterday's Star said that a suspect is in the hands of the police, a man with a rather sinister reputation.
I was about to join you in your optimistic outlook until you informed me that the good news came from the press, Watson.
But surely they wouldn't invent the fact that the police are holding a suspect, or the acts that are attributed
The
to
press making
You will
stuff
have
up?
the exact answer to these
Perish
two
the
questions
thought.
in less than 50 seconds,
Clutch
Watson.
my pearls.
Enter, Inspector.
Look at the mutton
Good
chops
day.
on him.
Dear Watson, allow me to introduce Inspector Aberline, Inspector Dr. Watson.
Inspector?
To what do we owe the honour of your presence, Inspector?
I heard that the two of you made your way to Whitechapel a few days ago. Your arrival, you are aware, coincides with a very serious affair which our police service is going to great lengths to solve and which is creating strong tensions in the area.
Pardon me, but haven't you arrested someone? A certain Leather Apron?
Absolutely not. The man who hides behind this name is indeed being actively searched for by the force. Besides, nothing at the moment suggests that he is the Bucks Row murderer.
There, you've been enlightened, Watson. Now it is our turn to answer Inspector Aberline's questions.
Indeed. I will be brief and precise. Do you intend to investigate this case?
What's
or have
wrong
you
with his
already
face as
started?
well?
It is to be of service to a friend that I went to Whitechapel. We did, out of curiosity, familiarise ourselves with the preliminary report.
2009
and we
modelling
made our way
work,
to the
no
scene of the
expressions
crime.
whatsoever.
Our conclusions are slim, as are the clues. Having not been officially appointed by a client, I believe that my intervention in this business will end there.
Very well. To be frank, you take the weight off my shoulders by distancing yourself from the case. Our image isn't very good, to say nothing of what the press puts us through. Thus, if overnight they found out that you were on the case, people would turn against us.
And they would pester me, overwhelm me, and finally make me out to be responsible for the inevitable failure such a scenario entails. Neither you nor I wish for this to happen. I know that your time is precious, Inspector. I will send you a note regarding my conclusions shortly.
With pleasure. Gentlemen?
Do you think that he will find the murderer?
The chances are slim to non-existent. It is 7 days now,
APS.
short of a confession from the murderer himself.
And you will not go further?
You heard the Inspector, Watson. My presence in Whitechapel would hinder, which doesn't mean that we will drop the case.
How is that?
The Inspector spoke of me, but not of us. It is you, Watson, who will lead the investigation tonight. It is you who will bring to the police station the little note that I will write regarding our conclusions. Despite the late hour, there is nothing to stop you from making inquiries about this famous leather apron while you are there.
You control Dr. Watson. Star, largest circulation in any evening payment in the kingdom. 1 halfpenny. Leather apron. More about his career, his latest movements in the borough. The sense of fear which the murder of the unfortunate woman Nichols has thrown over the neighbourhood, and especially over her companions, shows no sign of decreasing. A number of the street wanderers are in nightly terror of Leather Apron. One of our reporters visited one of the single women's lodging houses last night. It's in Thrall Street. One of the darkest and most terrible looking spots in Whitechapel. I switch off in 360p. I've dropped another 1,000 frames or so. What the fuck? One of the most darkest and most terrible looking spots in Whitechapel. The house keeps open till 1 o'clock in the morning and reopens again at 5. In the house nightly are 66 women who get their bed for whatever the D means. The proprietor of this place, who is also owner of several other houses of a similar character in the neighbourhood, told some gruesome stories of the man who has now come to be regarded as the terror of the East End. Night after night, he said, had women come in in a fainting condition after being knocked about by Leather Apron. He himself would never be out in the neighbourhood after 12 o'clock at night except with a loaded revolver. The terror, he said, would go to a public house or coffee room and peep in through the window to see if a particular woman was there. He would then vanish, lying in wait for his victim at some convenient corner hidden from the view of everybody. The police are making efforts to arrest him, but he constantly changes his quarters. Some of the unfortunate women state that he is now in one of the low slums in the borough. One of them said she saw him crossing London Bridge as stealthily as usual, with his head bent, his skimpy coat turned up about his ears, and looking if he was in a desperate hurry. The hunt for Leather Apron began in earnest last evening. Constables 43 and 173 J Division, into whose hands Leather Apron fell on Sunday afternoon, were derailed to accompany Detective Enright of the J Division in a search through all of the quarters where the crazy Jew was likely to be. Oh god, yeah. They began at 10:30 in Church Street in Shoreditch. Rumour having located the suspected man there, they went through the lodging houses, into pubs, down side streets, through their bullseyes, into every shadow in a search the quarter thoroughly, but without result. The hunt continued later down in the Brick Lane neighbourhood. Florentine Lane being Leather Apron's preferred lodging place lately. He was not found there. However, and the search, which then took the direction of the London hospital, resulted in nothing. It is the general belief that the man has left the district. The clue furnished by the woman who denounced the man on Sunday is a very unfortunate one. Her offer to prove by 2 women that Leather Apron was seen walking with the murdered woman in Baker's Row at 2 o'clock last Friday morning is the most direct piece of evidence that has yet appeared. His conduct on Sunday was as usual. He never answers a question when it is put to him and only speaks under strong compulsion. Mike, the grocer at George's Yard, dwelt a long time last evening on this peculiarity. He knows Leather Apron very well and has known him for 6 years, he says that. The young man is unquestionably mad! And that anybody who met him face to face would know it. That his eyes are never still, but always shifting uneasily, and he never looks anybody in the eye. Leather Apron used to live in the lodging house around the corner from the grocery, and was turned out of there some months ago with an order not to return. The lodging house is a few doors below the model doorway in which the Turner woman was found with 39 stabs. Keeps changing the number of stabs.
What? You still haven't left for Whitechapel, Watson?
Wow. What? Watson, where's my gin? Oh, right click just brings this back up. Okay, cool. Infinite stab wounds. Stabby, 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 stabby.
Well, if I follow Holmes's instructions, then to begin my investigation into this leather apron, I must first head to the police station.
And don't get any blood in the chin. What the fuck? And close the door.
Good evening, sir. What do you... I know you. You were here last week with Sherlock Holmes.
Indeed. I have come to bring a message from Sherlock Holmes for Inspector Aberline.
Very well, I will pass it on. But come to think of it, someone was asking about you recently. Finley, the caretaker of some shady boarding house nearby. Does that mean anything to you?
Ah, perhaps. Actually, I read in the Star that you have arrested a suspect called Leather Apron.
You shouldn't believe what you read in that rag, sir. The man is being hunted, but we have yet to get our hands on him, and we aren't close to it either.
Why ever not?
Bah, he's a specialist in the streetwalker racket. These girls make pitiful witnesses, and we don't inspire confidence. Furthermore, the man seems to be pretty discreet lately. Someone must be helping to hide him.
How to get on his trail, then?
One of these girls would have to confide in us and give a valid description of the man. Then we'd ask around the journeymen, who use aprons, I imagine.
Well, goodbye.
I saw him glitch in that chair.
I must go to Finley's boarding house.
It's just exactly how people walk, apparently. So, just a pram there. It's fine. That was very well timed. Watson, please. Sorry. Give the hydration from Kelly. That's a very bloody door.
Good evening, Finley.
Oh, good evening, sir. Aren't you the gentleman who was with the great detective the other time?
That is indeed me, Dr. Watson.
Has a good swig of gin.
Tell me, Finley, I was told that you were looking for us at the police station.
But it's the door
Indeed.
closed.
I wanted to thank you for last time, you know. That vagrant has never set foot round mine again. I even found a tenant, one who pays his rent, I mean.
You don't seem very happy, but you were lucky to have found a good tenant so quickly.
And when he moved in, something must have broken in his case and stank up the stairs in his room for 2 days. I think it was a jar. It must be over there.
Tell me, have you heard talk of Leather Apron?
By the papers, that's all. This man seems very sinister.
Do you know any journeymen who use this type
What are
of
you doing
apron?
over there?
The slaughterhouse butchers, I believe, but definitely the cobblers. I know one, old Isaac Solomonovich. His workshop is on a small street in the Jewish community, across from the hospital. He's a good man. He can help you. But you know, the people there are very close and don't share much with non-Jews.
Thank you, Finley.
At your service, sir.
This odour is very strong indeed, but the whole neighbourhood as such has a dreadful stench. Finley might have an idea as to what this jar that contained.
What do you want, Doctor?
You're right, the pieces of the jar that your tenant broke do give off a strange smell.
It's true. That's quite normal given his trade.
Yes, and what would the trade be of Your strange tenant.
Strange
A doctor,
tenant.
like yourself, I believe. Dr. Tumblety, a foreigner. Canadian, perhaps.
Dr. Tumblety. It might be interesting to know more about him. Thank you, Finlay.
At your service, sir.
The fact that Watson just walked straight to the wall and then at the last second just turned and walked off. So there's stuff around here apparently. Let's have a look, see if the doctor is this doctor. Why did I just have to open the gate and then click on the door and Watson didn't move?
Good evening, Doctor. My name is Dr. Watson. Pleased to meet you.
Good evening. I am Dr. Gibbons. Likewise.
That's it.
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
Nothing, apparently. Imagine that. What can I do for you, my dear colleague? Response. He's just standing there where it's like, so, nothing? Just wants fish. This way, I think. No.
A cobbler's shop. Closed. I will return later. The policeman said the street girls would know something about the leather apron. Maybe I should go and see Lucy.
Oh, it's closed.
Oh, it's you. I'm coming. Dr. Watson.
Jesus,
how are
she's
you?
easy to please.
Well, and yourself? And how's your uncle?
Oh, he sleeps a lot, but he doesn't seem to be suffering. Your medicine has worked wonders. Thank you again.
It was the least I could do. I have come to see you about a certain leather apron. Have you heard of
name on
him?
Copper Pine.
Oh, yes, of course. Terrible things are said about that man.
Have you ever come across him?
Goodness gracious, no. But I know that he has threatened and taken many girls in my situation. I don't know what more I can say, but Bella would be able to tell you some.
Who is Bella?
Bella Pullman. She's the landlady of the
Pullman.
place where I could take you there if you like.
Please do.
It's me. It's Lucy. This gentleman would like to speak to Bella. It's the
Light?
doctor who helped me.
Subtitles
I
are
must
they
leave to
really
return
were.
to my uncle. Thanks again. If you have the means, I can let you pass before everyone. But behind me.
What the fuck? Just fucked a skeleton. Nice. As far as I remember from what I read on Divinity Original Sin 2, all of the basic party members, like the playable characters, are romanceable.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you. Out of the way, I don't like the look of you. Out of the way, I don't like the look of you. Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
No. I mean, in fairness, when I played... Remember when I streamed Disciples Liberation and I fucked an undead werewolf? Or I got railed by an undead werewolf. I can just hear horses. Like, consistently horses. Don't think that guy likes to look at me somehow.
If you'd be patient, Madame Bella will arrive in a moment.
Good evening. I am Dr. Watson. It is young Lucy who told me to come see you.
Ah, so you're the Good Samaritan who saved her uncle without asking for anything in return. And now you've come to see me, no doubt, to explain that the poor little thing doesn't belong here, and you will see to her future. Well, if you expect me to let her leave with you...
It's not that, ma'am. You should know I am a married man.
And why should that matter?
I mean... Good point.
I believe there has been a misunderstanding. The reason that Lucy sent me here is that you may be able to give me some information about Leather Apron.
Are you a doctor or a constable?
I am most certainly a doctor.
I
am acting in this matter in a private capacity, and I would like to find this man.
Well, if you're able to rid us of him, I'll give you a week's worth of free passes. That man is a thorn in our sides. He spies on the girls in the streets and watches them inside the houses, spying through the windows. And as soon as they're finished with a client, he jumps on them without any warning and forces them to give him their money. I've never seen him, but one of my girls was attacked by this man, and she said that he wore a leather apron and carried a knife. And his face, oh, he has a horrible head, with rat's eyes and a deformed mouth. She even said that she knew his name, Pizer, I think. But I don't know where she can be found. Margie, Nutcracker, the girl I'm talking about, could tell you more, but I had to let her go last week.
I'm sorry, but having a prostitute who calls herself Nutcracker... You can hear him muttering while taking notes, something about lack of sensation and coccyx. Fuck is that skeleton boning? Oh crap, I just checked my live Twitch list and Kobe's still going the same power wash for the last 3 hours. Yeah, I can see that. Mine, dude.
Why did you let Margie go?
The poor girl caught a shameful sickness, and the symptoms have attacked her face, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
So I gave her notice, and a little bit to help her along. I don't know where she is now, but she'll certainly be getting treatment at the clinic if she's still in the neighbourhood.
Did you speak to the police?
What would they do? Who cares about the girls in the streets?
We didn't feel anything about playing as lizards. You got them sniddies.
Would you have received a visit from another doctor, a stranger by the name of Tumbleton?
I'm just like you, Doctor. Sworn to secrecy in my profession. But as I've taken a fancy to you,
yes, in the 5 minutes you've known me, you've taken a fancy to me.
And if you do me a little favour, it is possible I might remember something about him.
I'm gonna regret asking this.
What kind of favour must I do for you?
You see that man over there? He's a rich artist, a painter, a regular client round here. Well, yesterday, he came and left his cane in the umbrella stand in the hall before going into one of the rooms. Well, when he returned to this room, the cane had disappeared. It's a cane with a massive silver knob. Must be worth a fortune. He threatened
I think
to call
he's
the
a
police
massive
unless
silver
he got
knob.
free services in my establishment for a year. I'll be forced to accept, unwillingly, of course, given the services that he's demanding, unless the cane is found.
Did you question the residents regarding the theft?
They
You
didn't
handle
see
gun,
anything,
okay.
and there's not one of them that would risk stealing from a client here.
Who was in the room when your weasel of a client was in the chambers?
There were a few that came and went, but Mary could tell you better than I can, because she was the one at the counter yesterday.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem, my angel.
What happened to this rug?
Oh, it's when we got a coal yesterday. I asked the young man to fill the pail. Came back to put it down, but his feet were covered in soot and he made a black print. Madam Bella said it was my fault and I got a shilling's penalty. I also have to clean the print and it's no picnic. He has immense feet, that boy.
Immense
I heard that there
feet.
was a theft yesterday. Did you see anything?
No, and I was here the whole time.
Mary over there can tell you more. No, didn't say anything.
Who delivers the coal?
It's never the same person. I'd never seen that lad before.
Do you always keep an eye on the coat stand?
Oh, yes. Well, when the coal delivery came, a client came out of the chambers and stopped me from seeing the boy who brought the bucket of coal. You don't think he would have taken advantage?
Until next time, miss.
With pleasure, sir.
A large black footprint.
Watson, why did your chestmate go into your chin?
A large black footprint.
Watson, the only person in the world who I've ever seen who can touch his breastbone with his nose.
These paintings are suggestive, at the very least. Best not to stray off in that direction.
I love the fact that Watson is 100% out of his element here.
These paintings are suggestive, at the very least. These paintings are...
They actually count
These
each as
paintings are-
individual things. Let's talk to the dude.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my dear man. I was led to believe that you're a doctor.
None of the residents of this
Son of a
establishment are
yes.
among my patients, sir.
Oh, you're not here as a doctor, but as a man, then.
What the fuck is up
I
with his
understand.
face?
This is my kind of place, too. It's in these houses in Whitechapel that you find the girls that are the most natural and definitely the most docile.
Your way of speaking about these women is not that of a gentleman, sir.
What's going on with his eyes? They're moving independently.
Is he shifty?
What the fuck? Oh god, that's
I heard
no.
that you were the victim of a robbery here.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
He's a
The
lizard.
loss
huh?
of that walking stick will certainly bring me a very pleasant compensation.
What does your cane look like?
The stick is ebony, about 35 inches long. The round knob is made from chiseled silver with a ring around the middle of the same workmanship, just like the tip for that matter. If you find it, don't tell a soul. Keep it for yourself, got it?
Well, goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, or until next time, and good evening.
I would like to take the cane and insert it anally in him.
Best not to stray off in that direction.
Watson continued to be very uncomfortable.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
I might get some, some information on. No, just no, just same out of the way. I don't like the look of you. And across the courtyard as well. She's changed.
You're in a rush, my pretty? Come, I'll have you done so quickly you'll only have time to pay.
Yeah.
You're in a rush, my pretty.
Clinic.
These footprints are the same as those found on the rug at the brothel.
Very astute of you, Watson.
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
Oh, now I can actually talk to him.
I have come to see you about one of your patients. Margie goes by the nickname Nutcracker, who gets her prescription from the clinic. She's a lady of the night and is afflicted with a venereal disease.
I know who you're talking about. Indeed, Margie has syphilis and is being treated with mercury.
Do you have her address?
No. And for your information, she left London for good 3 days ago. She felt threatened.
Margie felt threatened? But by whom?
I believe that Margie was particularly scared of a terrifying man who attacked her once.
Did she say the name Pizer or Pyther?
Unfortunately, she didn't give a name, but she described a man with shifty, rat-like eyes and a mouth twisted in a sinister grimace.
Margie felt threatened?
I believe...
Did Margie have any idea where this man who terrified her so much might be found?
No, but she told me that another girl who'd been attacked like her had told her that this man worked in a cobbler's run by an old Israeli. Also, she saw him again last week, the night of a big fire. She told of going to see the fire like most everyone else in the area. While there, she recognised her attacker in the crowds gathered at the warehouses. There was no mistaking a face like that, she said. She kept an eye on the man the whole time the firemen were working in order to avoid him.
Pardon me, Doctor, but who made the large black footprints there near the beds?
The brother of one of my patients. The poor thing had a leg amputated after colliding with a carriage. We arranged to find her a prosthesis.
Prostheses are very expensive. How did this man pay?
He told me that one of his uncles gave him a walking stick with a chiselled silver knob. I agreed to accept this knob in exchange for a simple prosthesis with harness. But this object is of great value, and I could finance half a dozen other prostheses by selling it on Petticoat Lane.
A knobber's payment. I mean, yeah. Whatever floats your boat.
Doctor, I have reason to believe that the silver knob that you possess is from a cane that was stolen by the man who brought it to you. And I believe I know to whom it belongs.
That's what I was worried about. The story of the uncle seemed a little strange. Nevertheless, you must have proof of what you claim. I will show you all of the knobs that we have here. If you find the knob that the young man gave me, I will believe you.
Why is this doctor's place so full of knobs?
So be it, but something is bothering me. I will need a complete cane, not just a knob.
Don't worry, dear chap, build one. I can loan you some tools. Make use of the odds and ends in my cupboard. It'll help get rid of it.
Well, I shall try. I will have to remember the description that Sickert gave.
Yeah, sure, just in a...
Goodbye, Dr. Gibbons.
Until we meet again, my dear colleague.
Sure, just the clinic has just got a carpentry section in the back. Apparently. Got his hoe. It said up there, got his hoe. It was already open. Watson, what have you done? So it was definitely this. Oh, you say like 30? Did you say 35 inches long? Dialogues. Link, Finney's boarding house. Brothel second. The stick is every about 35 inches long. The round knob is made from chiseled silver with a ring around the middle of the same work, which doesn't have to matter. Chiseled silver. So it's all chiseled silver. Oh, of course, I remember. That's in centimeters. So 35 inches is around about 70 centimeters. So that is the correct one. So it's that. Say it's that, and then I'd say it's this.
There, all done. Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
I believe I found the knob from the stolen cane, which I succeeded in putting back together.
That's the one. And yet I cannot give it to you, Doctor. I will only return it to the police, and only if there is an official complaint against me.
Would there be a way to convince you to give me the cane?
Find me a dozen solid adjustable harnesses for wooden leg prostheses, and it's yours, Doctor.
Sure.
Goodbye, Dr. Gibbons.
Until we meet again, my dear colleague.
Sure, a dozen adjustable harnesses. Easy, just find those out on the street.
This interview with the doctor revealed an important fact. Leather Apron could not be the Bucks Row murderer. According to Margie, the villain passed most of the night of the crime at the fire. He could not have been at the scene of the murder at the moment it was committed. He is, nonetheless, a dangerous character.
The only greetings the man knows, my dear colleague, yep. So, harnesses. They're not going to have harnesses, as much as they might want them. Hi.
Tell me, is it...
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Does everyone just have that voice line or something? Dude's huge.
Whitechapel Street.
Gross, this
Bucks Row.
Do not know where to find these harnesses. Cobbler?
Who does that?
Look, it's Bucks Row.
I have no reason to go that way.
A butcher job in high heels.
Whitechapel Street. Tell me, is it...
I'm on duty, sir.
Okay, sure.
There's nobody here. How very odd.
Yes, how dare there not be anyone in a cobbler's shop at after midnight?
Why would they not be working?
I say, these things look like harnesses. Oh my, they are noisy. Good evening, sir. Pardon the interruption. The door was open. I didn't think that I would find anyone working at this hour.
Good evening, sir. I didn't hear you come in.
Say, those things that made noise, they are really harnesses, aren't they?
Yes, horse harnesses.
What
But
the
I
fuck
must
is
tell
going
you,
on with his
sir,
eyes?
that the store is normally closed at this hour. That is why I've asked you to return tomorrow.
I didn't come about my shoes. I came to speak of a cobbler, perhaps one of your former employees? A man with very particular habits.
Beard.
You aren't with the police by any chance? I'm sorry, but I do not want to speak of anything but shoes.
Sounds
with
man's
you.
beard. I don't know. His eyes and his beard. Just what the fuck?
I am not a policeman. I am Dr. Watson. It's Mr. Finlay, who told me that you might be in a position to inform me.
Ah, that Mr. Finlay is a very brave man. And if he sent you, then you must certainly be a worthy man also. So, Doctor, who is this cobbler with strange habits?
The man of whom I speak is called Pizer or Pyther, a man with a frightening face. Do you know him?
Yes, John Pizer. He worked here for a while, but he is no longer here.
Do you know where I can find him?
No, and if you look, you will not find him.
Why?
Because he is in hiding, Doctor. You see, a week ago, a horrible murder took place in the neighborhood. A rumor circulated that he might have been responsible for this crime. They say he has quarreled with women of certain virtue in the past, if you understand me.
Isaac, it is about the Bucks Row case that I have come to see.
He never
I
introduced
have
his
the
name.
certitude and an incontestable witness that
How does
Pizer
Watson
is
know
innocent,
his name's
at least
Isaac?
of this crime, although he has attacked a number of street
Racism.
women. If he doesn't come forward to explain himself to the authorities, he is condemned to hiding and to take the fall for this murder. Furthermore, it will cast suspicions on your community because they must be hiding him.
Shop sign.
And while the
It said
whole police
I.
force is
It-
hunting for
it
him,
only said
they
I.
cannot concentrate on the real assassin who roams the streets and, one never knows, may take any one of you any day.
If what you say is true, your visit is a godsend to our community, Doctor. I tell you something. I know Sergeant Thick, an honest policeman who lives in the area.
Sergeant
I'll
Thick.
tell John's family that he must go there to explain himself. But if you could please go as soon as possible to the police to give them this report that you say is incontestable.
I will go as soon as I take leave of you.
Thank you. If I can ever be of service in any way,
Okay,
do
just said
not
Devil Live coming with me.
hesitate to ask.
Robocop, yes.
Could we transform your horse harnesses into harnesses for wooden legs? Adjustable harnesses.
A good craftsman can do anything, Doctor. And I do believe that's what I am. Come back in a while and it will be done. That will be my thanks for what you have done.
I shall return later.
At your convenience, sir.
I am spent. I would like to return home. But I promised to go to the police as soon as I could. Now then, let's go to the police station.
I'm glad Watson said what I was supposed to do next. I don't have a fucking clue. Yeah, it just says Solomonovich. Solomonovich. Nowhere did he say his name was Isaac. What the fuck? Also, every single time I hear the name Isaac, I always think of either The Binding of Isaac or Isaac Clarke from Dead Space.
Will you?
Yes.
Isaiah 7 Robocop versus 2014 Robocop. Both good films, for different reasons.
Hey, Doctor, you seem tired. Were you wandering the darker parts of Whitechapel all night?
You could say that. I have some information on Leather Apron, the man of whom we spoke earlier.
Do you know where he is?
No, but I can clear him of the Bucks Row crime. A witness proved him totally innocent.
Oh, Watson, is it only now, after many hours of walking, that you decide to pass on the important message that Inspector Aberline is waiting for?
But, no. But what are you doing here, Holmes?
I was worried, Watson, and with good reason it would appear. Go give the message to this policeman and let's go home. Nobody appreciates me hanging around here, you know, and it's freezing cold.
Fuck.
Ah, Creddle, none too soon. You will take the testimony of this.
No, you continue with your duty shift. I must find Chandler in Ambury Street. He's struck again.
Who?
The murderer, the Bucks Row assassin.
Hanbury Street. Let's go, Watson. We have no time to lose.
Looks like in the Binding of Isaac. Impressive. I actually completely missed on what I was supposed to do.
Another murder.
Hanbury Street.
Yeah.
It's Hanbury Street. Settings. I think I have Hanbury Street on here. Should see a review of Dead Space Remake. From what I've heard, Dead Space Remake is very, very good.
No reason to go that way.
Okay.
I have no reason to go that way. I have.
Okay. I just have to find my way there? Or do I...
I have no reason to go that way.
Well, where am I supposed to go then?
The green dot right there.
What green dot?
Oh. Hanbury Street. Let's go, Watson. We have no time to lose.
What do you want from us? Someone in the background like that, just there, laying down, going, ugh.
What are we doing, Holmes?
You can go in, Mr. Holmes. She's there. We didn't touch a thing.
Cool. Others must be exhausted, yeah. Seen people walking on the running bits in remade Dead Space. I think the only thing that someone said was a massive downside on the remake is that the necromorphs, at the time you reviewed it, the necromorphs just didn't feel like they presented much of a threat because they didn't sprint towards you, they just walked very slowly and very politely.
It was very good of PC Chandler to let us pass. He said no one has touched the corpse. It's the perfect opportunity for us to put our skills to the test. Watson, let's not waste it.
Question is, if that's an unkillable monster you need a jet engine to kill will chase you through the Holy Shimura. That was Dead Space 2.
A piece of coarse muslin. 2 combs, curiously arranged.
Scrap an envelope found. London, 28th August 1988. The Royal Sussex Precinct. Royal Sussex. Mutus.
A torn envelope. It smells of rubbing alcohol. It contains 3 pills. I will take one. 2 should suffice for the police.
Don't do street drugs while you're investigating, Holmes.
The blood is a dozen inches or so from the ground. Bloodstains on the wall. So, Doctor, shall we examine our victim?
Ah, I'm tired, Holmes. I'm not sure if I am in a state to do this work.
Come, Watson, there is little time. Show me what you're made of.
One good thing is the game is not going through a book saying yes or no.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
Pray, Watson,
I'm
pull
so
yourself
random
together.
tracks. Yeah.
Can you establish the time of the crime?
Well, the Ubermorph was in one. I'm very certain that was 2.
Cold and rigor mortis is beginning to set in. I would say that the murder was committed over 2 hours ago, before 4:30 a.m.
That's my big issue with 2, was it was too action heavy. Keeps the gruesome detail, but doesn't make it too over gross.
Let's look at this poor woman more closely.
Honk honk.
A bruise. The victim's face appears to have bruising, wouldn't you say?
Under the maxilla and cheek. There is less on the right side.
The tongue is swollen. Look at her neck. What can you tell me?
There are 2 incisions.
Look at her neck. What can you tell me?
There are 2 incisions.
That's because I played this live, I just couldn't carry on. That's fair. I played and finished the first and second Dead Space. I played the first 15 minutes of Dead Space 3. I was like, this is not a Dead Space game. Appreciate Tony Goy, but it's the same.
Now, let's look at the stomach, or at least what remains of it.
It's dreadful, Holmes. Who could do that to someone?
That's what you're here for, Watson. Tell me what this man has done.
The stomach has been entirely opened and... Oh, my God! A number of organs have been removed.
So, you're telling me that the organs were removed, Watson? They weren't ripped out?
Thank you, right, for your contribution to the Dragon Fox Stream Challenge.
On the contrary, this is clearly the work of an expert. I couldn't have done any better myself. And the uterus is missing. What do you think, Holmes?
Camera. Oh, shit. Thank you, Torian. Thank you for pointing that out. I did not see it. Women couldn't have done better. What's the last? Okay. Let's just put all the things in there. Body is cold at the extremities and rigor mortis has barely started. Reminds me because it was barely 2 hours ago. So it's a good time. I don't know what time it is. I don't know. On the fence, a double inches off the ground, some blood spurted on the wall near the stairs. I'll throw it while laying down, still alive. Tim's bruise under the right jawbone and beneath the left cheek. Left cheek would be the left, like. Need to reinstall and replay Dead Space 1 then. Dead Space 1 did a better job of being a horror game, in my opinion. Dead Space 2 felt a little bit too into the... I don't know. It was too outright with its horror. The Stalkers, however, if they put the Stalkers into Dead Space 1, perfect. We're doing with his left hand. Left-handed. With ambidextrous? Okay, killers must be right-handed then. Tongue is bloated. Victim was strangled. Partridge tongue then had her throat slit. Lips near the victim's head. And it was brought up by the victim. Hand. Let's go there. Use a add knife. Organs are missing. Use the hands of an expert. With a short, supple blade, like a. He panicked. Is it decapitator? No. I will use a very sharp blade. Okay. This was eaten. It wasn't taken. What am I missing here? Because none of those are lining up to make that. That's all the combinations, and they're all saying wrong for that part of deduction. Oh, there we are. Oh, there we are. It's not everything, though, is it?
This fence separates the courtyard from the neighbours, 27 Hanbury Street. This door must lead to the cellar. The latch has been recently repaired. This apron is soaked with water and has left a clear mark on the ground. It must have been left in water for several hours and has been there for some time. What a stench! Nobody is hiding inside.
You don't know that, Holmes. Someone without a nose might be in there.
What a stench! Nobody is hiding inside.
Stab, stab, stab.
I have nothing to ask.
Okay, apparently the officer on the scene has got nothing to tell me. Sure, thanks, Holmes. I mean, the police generally are in Sherlock Holmes things. What's done to chase you through one of the levels? Oh yeah, but yeah, not the Ubermorph. That's the thing I didn't like. I didn't like with the Ubermorph. It's like, yay, you've given me a completely unkillable monster to deal with. Great. Which, I don't know, it just feels like Resident Evil type horror, which, in my opinion, not great. So let me be up here, but actually not letting me do anything up here. There's nothing here for me to do. I mean, there's blood here. What looks like blood? Do you have anything in my inventory? How do I don't even know. I just don't even know.
You can go in, Mr. Holmes. She's there. We didn't touch a thing.
The murderer is a foreigner. I know that for sure.
With all of these killings, the work becomes risky.
God damn it, Holmes.
Looks like he hacked her up good, this girl.
Holmes, please.
Have you heard about the latest murder? It's atrocious. I don't even want to think about it.
Heard about it, lady? I've just been poking it. Is that how you will?
We don't dare go out at night now with this madman in the streets. And what if he starts to attack children? My God.
The question still stands, will that hunter chase you through the whole damn ship since I hear the ship was changed to the big open world? I do not recall thinking of being changed into the big open world.
Looks like he hacked her up good, this girl.
I have nothing to ask.
Like, they've expanded it, but they've not turned it into an open world. Oh, there's a thing that I haven't seen.
There are no trails on the ground. There's no sign of a struggle.
Ah. It wasn't dragged. Placed on the premises. Ah, there we are.
Here, it would seem he has a mark on his left hand.
I'm sorry, what was that voice line? He has a mark on his left hand, is what Sherlock just said.
The victim must have worn a large ring or several little ones, and someone pulled them off forcefully. This detail will be very valuable, Watson. You can be sure of that. The victim must have worn a large... My dear Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
Always has to pause before saying the facts.
I hear a noise coming from the street, Watson. The authorities are arriving. It's time for us to go.
Holmes has been locked away in his room for days, always saying the same things. I'm thinking, Watson. Very good, Watson. As you wish, Watson. But I am thinking too, so much so that I can't sleep. Annie Chapman. Good Lord.
I think that is a very good place to end it for tonight. Do I really want to save this game? Yes, I don't want to have to start all over next time. God, that was janky. I loved it though. Like, some of it was a bit weird with the deductions, but that's because I can't always remember what's going on with them. Oh, it's been a while. Oh. God. Yeah. That is where I'm going to be ending things for tonight. So thank you all very much for coming along, for your support. It's all greatly appreciated, and whatever way you choose to show it. Next stream from me is going to be tomorrow at 11 AM EST, which is 4 PM BST. And I will be playing, let's have a look at the... Oh, that is almost unanimous. Yeah, we're going to be playing a surprise game tomorrow. But yeah, until then though, thank you all very much for coming along, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, a good evening, a good night, a good morning, or a good afternoon. For now, I declare this stream officially closed. See you later.